It is the year 2002. We have had 3 different Spider-Man games on consoles since the year 2000. They were pumping these dudes out like hotcakes, and kids like me were loving it. Neversoft Spider-Man was a masterpiece, and the other 2 games were fun enough to enjoy, but these games were all missing something. Something so obviously distracting that even little 6-year-old me was confused. Spidey's webs didn't attach to walls. Look at this. How in the world did they ever think this was okay? All jokes aside, I'm sure there was some graphical limitations to this, but it is funny to joke about nonetheless. With enough people complaining on this matter though, you best believe Activision needed to do something, and did something, they did. With their track record of releasing games, they could have easily released another game and given us the same game with a different coat of paint. But they made the decision to keep their next game in the oven a little longer. With a little more time for the team to work, they delivered on not just another Spider-Man game, but the Spider-Man game we've all been waiting for, and that was Spider-Man 2. Sure, it was another movie tie-in game, but it was so much more than that. This was the first Spidey game to freely roam around the city and do as we pleased, and more importantly, yes, folks, our webs attached to the damn buildings, and it felt so good. Today, we are going to be talking about Spider-Man 2 in preparation for Marvel's Spider-Man 2? We all know the difference. If you don't care, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on videos like this in the future. Let's begin. The story of Spider-Man 2 is of course just a loose adaptation of the masterpiece of a sequel by Sam Raimi. It's so cool to think that this game and the movie is listed as one of the best superhero games and movies of all time. As fun as the main story elements are, it's the side stories that really make the game stand out. Of course, we were going to fight against Doc Ock in this game, and they were awesome fights, but we also had appearances from other villains from Spidey's Rogues Gallery, such as the reoccurrence of the Shocker, and the introductions to the Raimi-verse for the Rhino and Mysterio. We had other villains appear as well in other ports of the game, such as the Vulture, returning in the PSP and Nintendo DS ports, Puma, who appeared in the PC and Game Boy Advance ports, and Kurt Connors, who turns into the Lizard in the Game Boy Advance and Engage ports. And let's not forget the secret boss fight with Calypso once you complete the game and unlock the battle arena. That was pretty fun. It's so cool to see how different versions of the game can give you a little more extra content that you can't find in the base game. As cool as that is, we're going to focus on the base game released on consoles as it is the superior version of this game. Each of these boss encounters were memorable and fun to play. Let's take a look at the Rhino. We catch him working to steal a device for, I'm assuming, Doc Ock, but the voice actor for Rhino did his homework. This man sounds like an idiot, and I love it. The boss fight was pretty fun. There was more to it besides dodging his charge like the Neversoft game. We had to get the bub dizzy and get our hands dirty ourselves. And let's talk about the Shocker showing his face again, but we can't do that without talking about Spidey's new girlfriend, Black Cat. Mary Jane who? As much as I love MJ, I've always loved the dynamic between Peter and Felicia Hardy. A lot of the missions with Black Cat are chasing her around the city and trying to talk, and she just tries to piece herself on out. But it comes down to having to fight Shocker, and it was a fun battle. You actually have to fight Bub not once, but twice, because he ends up hurting Black Cat and running away. Too bad he's not that smart of a villain though. We find him again and knock his ass out, boys. Now my favorite boss fight was with Mysterio. Our first encounter is in the theater as he's made fun of by everyone. It quickly ended after he attacked them with drones to show he isn't messing around. We have to save the civilians trapped inside before they burn to a crisp. I thought this was really cool, and a lot of the Mysterio missions had a really cool soundtrack to it. It was really awesome. The next encounter is at the Statue of Liberty. We see Mysterio taking Lady Liberty's place, and to stop him, we have to destroy this giant spaceship projector type doohickey that contains a giant brain. It's so cliche science fiction-y, and I love it. It is Mysterio after all. We next have to go through a funhouse, and this part was super trippy. To the rooms flipping upside down, to fighting clown dolls, all the way up to fighting goofy reflections of Spidey himself. It was a mission that really kept me at the edge of my seat. I loved every second of it. I didn't know the full backstory of Mysterio at that age, so I was concerned how Parker was going to get out of this fight. Especially once you go face to face with the damn guy. Holy hell, look at his health. I'm almost positive I pooped my pants when I saw the health bar for that shithead. I didn't run though. I gave it my all and fought tirelessly. Oh, well, never mind. The gameplay is where this game changes everything. Grand Theft Auto at the time was all the rage, And I'm assuming those were games that pushed Treyarch and the team to make this game open world. Thankfully so, of course. What this game lacked in unique missions was made up for the extra activities you could do, such as fighting crime throughout and random crime activities. You could stop random groups of thugs from breaking into shops, you could stop speeding vehicles that were where the thugs were shooting outside to get away from the police, all the way down to trying to save people from falling off buildings for some weird reason. I don't know, but you do have to save them. Sometimes you got to take civilians to the hospital. There is a lot that you have packed into this. Also, you get to deliver pizzas.
Just in time.
I spent literal hours inside this world, and half the time it was mindlessly web swinging around. The fighting was expanded upon, and they even added a spider sense mechanic where you can dodge incoming attacks. And like I said with the web swinging, I mean, is there much to say here? I mean, look at this. It is absolute perfection. This web swinging mechanic is still looked upon as the best web swinging in the Spider-Man franchise. I don't agree with this, but I can totally see why they would think that. The soundtrack was massively improved upon too, thankfully. There are a couple duds that feel like a Great Value branded theme from the movie, but when the boss fights come in, the music shines and sounds so badass, man. It is incredible. As soon as that boss fight hit when you were fighting Shocker, I was literally peeing myself, trying to get away from him, trying to dodge the vibro blast. It was insane. Now, there are a couple negatives here. When it comes to the CGI cutscenes, the actors did not look like the actors. It was a little bit weird looking. Spider-Man, in fact, when Peter was wearing the suit, that is totally fine. He's wearing a suit after all. But when the mask comes off, holy hell, that does not look like Tobey Maguire. It was just awful. And the voice acting, it is a little bit better, but the voice acting is still a little bit cringy. Spider-Man 2 is a massive success with not only the fans, but the critics as well. I don't hear any bad things about this game, and that's impressive. The only things I hear are personal preferences of liking other games more. But when it comes to the game in general, it's pretty much perfect. The web swinging is some of the best in the franchise, like I've said before, and it inspired many others to make superhero games in the quality of this. Of course, many other superhero games did not stick the landing, but it is a good thing to look up to. They want that Spider-Man 2 quality. The story is kind of bare bones, but makes up for all of the mindless fun you can have around the city. We know the story of Spider-Man 2, so I wasn't bothered to miss out on the game, not focusing on that. Who knew an extra year could give us better quality games? That is so weird. That's just unbelievable. I give Spider-Man 2 an A+. And that's all we're going to be talking about with Spider-Man 2. List your favorite moment of Spider-Man 2 down in the comments below, and don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future. And until next time, take it easy, bubs.